Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone. I want to thank you for attending today's Remedy Force automation using RPA. Today's topic will cover digital experience to your employees by automation of IT, HR, admin, finance, all with tickets within BMC Remedyforce. Okay, just a few housekeeping notes. We've put all participants on mute for a better experience for yourself and your listening pleasure. We will take Q&A at the end of this session. You can, on the questions on the screen as you see highlighted, please feel free to submit your questions throughout the session, and we will leave time to for Q&A at the end of the session. So let's get started. Some of the things that we'll cover today is, from a business case point of view, how can you develop it? What's important? Things of this nature. We'll hear about some views from the industry analyst. Then we'll get you an introduction into AutomationEdge, and along with a demo and Q&A. So, in the past 30 years or so, or back 30 years, help desk was really formed to bring some kind of structure to IT in the help desk of incidents, etc., which then quickly moved into more of IT as a service. So the service desk was created to really manage incidents, problem, change, config, and more around an SLA for IT. And as things always evolve, it is now really meant for and can be leveraged for the enterprise. So not only IT, but many of the business functions to really create business service requests and not just IT requests. So here is a typical onboarding example, and the several swim lanes and the disciplines that different participants and humans really need to achieve for a successful end-to-end onboarding process. And as you can see, it's timely. There's many manual handoffs that really slow down the turnaround time for when an employee accepts an offer to the first day of working to increase productivity. This is how organizations, if they haven't matured to a automation of onboarding, this is the process or an example of a process that they would leverage. Here's an example of how a Remedyforce environment can look for employee onboarding service requests. So as you can see, very much starting the automation journey, creating different fields that need to be responded to, the ones in red, so that automation can start to occur in the background. And this is where IT process automation as well as robotic process automation technology can achieve a true end-to-end onboarding process. And as Gartner looks at this, you can see as back in the previous slides, the many handoffs, the many human capital that is used for these manual processes. And certainly the industry from an IT service management is in a shift left mode, right? So that we can speed up things, so that repeatable incidents and service requests can be handled easily. And certainly from an IT operations and IT service delivery, automation of a process like HR onboarding can have a very big impact on the service delivery and the service excellence of a given organization. Some of the market trends that are happening, and as Forrester points out, first of all, the IT process automation tools are modestly being increased. It's there for a reason, because many organizations are looking to either start or extend their digital transformation journey. And the way to do that from a RPA and ITPA point of view is really around automation of those those mundane tasks. And as you can see, the prediction from Forrester that there's going to be 4 million bots that are going to be in place by 2021. So, we always take a look at it's not a matter of if starting this automation journey by leveraging tools like ITPA and RPA, but it's a matter of when. So, we certainly want to support the journey of the industry with our leading solution in both IT process automation as well as robotic process automation. One of the things from a business case point of view, I mean, we're simply using the dollar value of 20 from an offshore point of view. And all you need to do is really take a look at your service request, call out your top 10, your top 20 requests that you can put a automation initiative to lower the cost of a service request, to increase the productivity, to avoid rework, to increase customer sat, and I'll also add to increase employee satisfaction. So, to help build a business case, you really want to take a look at the top 10, 20 service requests that really is residing in your IT service management solution. In this case, would be Remedyforce. See which ones are the most costly, prioritize, and then start taking that journey as you look to automate and become a enterprise service management service to the business. And I think in Remedyforce's case and BMC's, it's really around digital service management. So here is a good example and a very powerful illustration of basically RPA working in concert with IT process automation. So you can see from before the conventional way of a onboarding process would occur, when you move into and modernize your HR and onboarding process, it would take the strength of a RPA solution in combination with a IT process automation solution to bring a end-to-end enterprise workflow to bring an employee on board from the conception of accepting an offer to being productive the first week that he starts his or her new position. So one of the things that we're very proud of and honored is to be part of not only the Gartner Market Guide for RPA, but we are the only vendor that also reside in the Gartner ITPA. And as we just illustrated within that previous slide, certainly our point of view is that you really need both RPA and IT process automation to really take that process that could be complex, that could be cross-domain, for a completion execution of a enterprise process. We also are very proud and enjoy a technology partnership with BMC. So we're actually listed in the BMC and Remedyforce Market Zone. So you can download that app, if you will. And we also reside in the Salesforce App Exchange. We obviously went through and scrutinized the integration that we have done with BMC Remedyforce. And we have deep RPA connectors for Remedyforce, including ready action bots. And I'm sure Himanshu and others will talk about some of the action bots, cognitives, if you will, for automatic ticket classification. So certainly we are honored and very proud to be a BMC Remedyforce partner, and we look forward to supporting this customer base through enterprise leading RPA and IT process automation solution. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce Himanshu and turn it over to Himanshu for subsequent sessions, slides within this session. Thanks very much and enjoy the rest of the webinar.
Thanks, Ed. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everyone. So Now I'll be covering the next part of the presentation where we will talk about architecture, use cases, and case studies. So essentially, when we are talking about RPA with Automation Edge, along with both IT and non-IT functions, the basic premise is that you can take input from various different sources. So if you are talking about more non-business side of solutions, then you can have a spreadsheet from where you can read data or go to a website and pick up some data from there, or even talk to databases, do an OCR on a PDF that comes attached to you, or even parse mails. All of these things, and these are just examples that can be used as inputs for your different non-IT tasks. And if you want to also think about more IT systems, so systems like SolarWinds or Nagios, which allow you to do alert monitoring or event management, these things can also be used as starting points, of course, along with the BMC Remedyforce instance that you would be using with your service desk. Automation Edge sits in between these two layers where it does the heavy lifting of logic for you. It would follow the criteria that have been defined. It would check the validations on the data that have been defined, as well as it would handle exceptions for you. This is what we call as rule-based decision making. And then finally, you can enter data into different target systems with ready bots. So why with ready bots? Because these actually allow you to talk with the systems faster, with a shorter deployment time, and without a lot of efforts for development of these. So you can have various different target systems. These can be business applications that are specific to your vertical or to your domain. These can be IT systems, ERP platforms, CRM softwares, IT systems, HR management systems, even going back to legacy systems like AS400, Base24, or ZOS. And of course, IT applications are always there when we talk about IT automation. So, like Active Directory, Amazon's EC2 services, Azure, Office, the 365, Salesforce, etc. So the idea is that you should not be restricted while automating on either side of the process. You should be able to choose your existing inputs, assimilate it in automation, and then get an output without having to make any changes to your process. When we are talking about the platform as such, so the first level is essentially tasks. So tasks are nothing but small actions or activities that are performed. So one is that ready library of tasks that we have that can allow you to quickly integrate with any systems like Active Directory, EC2, AS400, etc. Just a few examples here. The second portion is building of tasks where you can do your UI automation, or you can have your scripts running as a part of singular platform. So instead of having your scripts running in different silos, you can actually have all of them running in a single platform, and then it is much easier for you to monitor all of these things through your singular Remedyforce instance. And then, of course, the platform expands with multiple capabilities as a part of the offering. Multiple robots or multiple digital workers work together seamlessly to make sure that the tasks are completed on time, and that both types of tasks, UI and non-UI tasks, can be done as a part of the process. So just a few examples which you can see here would be front office automation, employee onboarding automation, new business invoice processing, service desk automation. And as Ed spoke about in a couple of slides ago, when we are talking about automation, we can only think of sky as our limit now, because there are limitless possibilities that we can think about, and then we can try and achieve automation of these specific requests. So when we are talking about Automation Edge again as a platform, so I've been repeatedly referring to Automation Edge as a platform. So when we are talking about platform for the digital enterprise, we believe that a singular technology is not really useful or helpful when we are going to try and automate a business service process, right? So let's take an example of employee onboarding, which it discussed again a couple of slides back. So in that case, there are some tasks which you can definitely do using only IT automation. But then there are some tasks that in conventional or current models, you are relying on your engineers to do manually. So a simple example can be when an employee joins, if you want to order a device as a part of onboarding, let's say a MacBook or a Dell laptop, you are currently or probably currently relying on some engineer to do that as a manual part of that specific process. But with combination of technologies, you can actually have that automated using the non-IT section or the RPA section, and have the end-to-end process automated without human intervention necessary. So this is what we call as automation edge wheel, where you can see multiple technologies are there as a part of the platform. The basic logic which we have behind the wheel is that every process should be a candidate for automation, whichever is a pain point in any organization. So today we are specifically concentrating on RPA and IT process automation. Now, when we are talking about RPA, UI automation is of course there. You have Excel automation, as a lot of times large organizations have a huge amount of data that is present in spreadsheets. We also support mainframe automation in case you are catering to needs of legacy systems. And when we are talking about IT automation, we of course do core IT automation, which is runbook automation activities like adding users to AD, resetting passwords, granting access to shared folder, etc. And then you have your service desk automation. So maybe you are getting a mail and then you want to create a ticket automatically. So creation of tickets, updation of tickets, closing of tickets, all of these things are done automatically. Because we realize that when organizations like yours invest in service desks, a lot of ecosystem is intended to be a part, or rather service desk is intended to be the center point of lot of things within your ecosystem. And then when you have to use multiple different systems to cater to different needs, it pretty much beats the purpose of that. But with automation edge, you can cater everything through your service desk, having it as a center point, which allows you to maintain audit logs, reports, and all of these things as a part of single process. We also do security automation, where we can talk with different security incident and event management tools. For example, Splunk, as we have noted here, where if you are using anything like Splunk, Norton, McAfee, etc., and if a security breach is detected, then we have the ability to act on it as per the instructions of that tool. Slightly going beyond these two quadrants, I would also like to very briefly talk about cognitive abilities of the tool as well. So Automation Edge also has cognitive abilities built right into the platform. We have ready bots for normal tasks. So a relevant example which I would like to talk about today is uh, that of automatic ticket classification, where a lot of times what we have seen is L1 engineers waste a lot of time in classifying the tickets, because more often than not, I'm sure as you all would have observed, a lot of unnecessary content is written into a mail, and then your engineer has to go through that entire mail to try and understand it and then categorize it. With cognitive or AI based automatic ticket classification, this pain point is taken away. And then it is not just classifying, right? So if you are actually automating some of your requests also, then if the ticket gets classified as an automation candidate, it will not just classify it but go beyond it by doing fulfillment, either using IT actions or UI automation or whatever technology is required, and send and come back, update it in service desk, and also probably shoot a mail back saying, hey, this problem has been resolved, this is the solution, or any relevant resolution that is required in that use case. And of course, we can deal with data with various different requirements. So it might be processing large amounts of data using ETL, or fetching data from your Hadoop systems using the big data connector. So the idea behind Automation Edge platform is that you should be able to automate the process of your choice without having to rely on multiple tools. All of it can be done using Automation Edge as a platform. It has a rapid API integration based out of it, where we publish our APIs, so you can directly integrate it with your existing service desk. No need to use a separate interface for that. ready bots architecture, where we have multiple ready bots that can talk to different business and IT systems, and most importantly, drag and drop automation, which allows you to design this much more easily. So just to take a couple of examples now, moving from the product to more of service use cases and case studies now. So one standard thing which we generally see is employee onboarding. So this is one of the examples that we have already done. So for instance, employee onboarding service request is then raised through your Remedyforce service desk, which is then picked up by AutomationEdge. Then it talks with target system and performs various different actions like adding user in HRMS, or creating a mail out box in Microsoft Exchange, or creating a user on Office 365, etc. And once all of that is done, it then goes ahead and updates Remedyforce ticket. So multiple actions are done between creation of ticket and update, closure of that ticket, and everything happens through Remedyforce as the central part. Another thing is remediation of events when we are talking more about IT systems. So, for instance, let's say that there is an event where your VM disk on Azure, a virtual disk on Azure, is nearing its full capacity. Based on the alerts that you have designed, SolarWinds can pick it up, and it can create a ticket in Remedyforce. The ticket which is then created can automatically be assigned to automation queue. Once it is assigned to automation queue, remediation action is done on Azure system using the ready bots. The ticket is likewise updated, and meanwhile on the target systems, you can actually get your actions done, and then you can design workflows in a smart way where you can follow the requirements of uh, specific scenarios. So, for instance, you can expand disk or attach a disk or format a disk, or whatever the requirement may be. It can be done completely using AutomationEdge. So, to talk about a few case studies, this is of course a partial list of our clientele that is using service desks to automate their IT requests. So, to talk about a few case studies, when we are talking about automation, it does not just mean automating repetitive or mundane tasks. So one of our clients has used this in an innovative way, where we have created software request portal for them. Now this is a custom page created using Visual Force in Remedyforce. They call this as an app store or software request portal, where an employee, if he or she wants to install a software, goes to the portal, simply clicks on the icon. The request then goes for approval to the responsible person. Depending on the approval, software is provisioned in the backend, and a link is given to the user to download the software along with the unnecessary auxiliary requirements. So this includes a digital experience and innovative process rather than just automating mundane tasks. So not only is your engineer saving time in deploying softwares for individual repeatedly, but you are also giving a digital experience to your end users or employees. Another account or another case study which I want to talk about is telephony account creation or deletion. So this is a common scene which we have seen, where you have to constantly create or delete accounts based on employees joining or leaving your organization. So this is one of the repetitive process where there was in quite a good cost saving, where we automated this 100%. The processing time was reduced by 50%. We could achieve 100% accuracy by eliminating all the errors, and complete auditability and traceability of the action performed in Remedyforce right under your fingertips and control. And there are multiple other IT processes which you can do on similar lines, right? So one is employee offboarding, where you can delete active identity tokens, or you can do access management on Box, or alias management on Exchange. Again, employee offboarding using device wipe or delete user for enterprise devices using applications like AirWatch, or on or offboarding of for employees using Cisco WebEx. So different applications can be interacted using different technologies depending on the use case. For instance, if you are using Salesforce Enterprise, APIs can be used, but if you are using Salesforce Professional Edition, onboarding can still be automated, but that can be done using UI automation. Another example of enterprise-wide adoption is the one that is displayed on the screen, where again we have automated wide range of tickets across different target systems of different nature. So this can be Active Directory, or if you are talking about network and security, then Proofpoint, Triton, generating MBSA report, user management, Conflicts Cube, Microsoft CRM, Unix user and password reset. And this was a phased rollout where in first stage we had automated 13% of the service desk tickets that were automated end to end. In second stage, we could raise that number to a whooping 35%, where we did automation for network and data center stages as well, like health checks, data transfer, web publishing, etc. Now, this is again some stats which have been we achieved in real life. These are real life stats where you can see the turnaround time improvements that have been done. So you can see shared directory access from 10 hours to a minute, or data request from 36 hours to a minute, a CRM access or Windows password. And I would like to highlight the point that these numbers are not the numbers or hours that are taken to close the ticket just by doing the action, but these are wait times also, where in the engineer's wait time, the load on that engineer, availability of engineer, and all such tasks have been, or all such considerations have been added while taking the before time and after time scenario. So I would like to show a couple of things, and then I would like to show you a video. So let me quickly take you to the Automation Edge portal now. So before going to Automation Edge portal, let us actually go to Remedyforce Automation Edge application. So Remedyforce has a certified Automation Edge app that is available on Salesforce Exchange as well. It comes bundled with your Automation Edge trial. So this is where you can very easily map your automation requests or set up configuration. So when we are talking about configuration, it allows you to map your existing service requests or created service requests with um, uh, workflows back in Automation Edge instance. So for instance, if I want to map Office 365 user creation, I can go ahead, I can decide what request input maps to what type of workflow attribute and these kind of things. Then I can also manage my connection to Automation Edge using this, where there is a setup tab as well, where we can do all of these things as a part of the application itself without having to do any coding or having to write complex URLs to go ahead and connect with those. That being said, just to give you a quick glimpse of Automation Edge's UI, let me just log into it. So this is how Automation Edge UI looks like, where it has its own analytics and dashboards. If that is something which you want to go through or check with it, it has its own user access management. So if you want to actually, rest something or make sure that access is restricted to certain workflows, then that can be done as well. You have custom reports available as a part of the product itself. You can of course have requests downloaded as per the requirement and so on. So this was just a glimpse of the product. We don't want to take a lot of time talking about the product itself. One last thing which I want to quickly show you through a video is how uh, UI automation plus API integration can be used simultaneously to achieve the best possible outcome. So this in this specific use case, what we are going to do is we are going to synchronize contacts from Salesforce CRM to Zoho CRM. Now Salesforce CRM has its own APIs that we have used, so that is going to happen in the backend. And for Zoho CRM to import those contacts, we are actually going to go ahead and use UI automation. So as you can see here, currently, if you see the contact list in Zoho, and even if you go ahead and refresh it, you'll be able to see that there are no contacts. So now let us go ahead and trigger that request in Automation Edge. So we'll just submit the request, and this can be done through service desk also. So as I said, requests can be triggered in service desk directly. The use of this UI is completely optional. So this is the machine on which you will be able to see UI automation working. The robots that would be doing UI automation. So you can see that the browser has opened up. It has opened the Zoho CRM account. Now it will log in into Zoho CRM, and once it is logged in, it is going to follow the process that is required to essentially import all the contacts from Salesforce to Zoho. So the Salesforce part has been done using APIs, so that is something that wasn't shown on the screen. Now, as a part of import using UI, we will be doing uh, upload. So you can see that the exported file has been imported here. Mappings are being set here. Now we will simply go to the next page, accept the mappings, and complete this import. So you can see so many contacts we have been imported between two systems without having to do any hard work on human side. All of these things have been done completely using Process Studio, which is the IDE platform which allows you to design this using drag and drop. But let's not just see that. Let us go back to Zoho CRM and confirm if that task has been completed successfully. So if we go back to Zoho and now refresh, we'll be able to see that entire contact list being populated. So using the best approach that was available, we have completed the task in an efficient as well as effective way. And as I said, this entire thing has been designed using AutomationEdge Process Studio without having to write a single line of code. So if I just go ahead, it's as easy as this, where you can simply check whatever steps you want to do and get those done without having to write a single line of code. These are ready blocks or ready actions that you can use directly to get, or I would say, to reach to a required outcome without again having to do any intensive coding, or in most cases no coding at all. So I guess that's it from the presentation part. Now we would like to take your questions, and we would like to answer your questions.
Excellent. Thank you, Himanshu. And Nilesh, if you start those questions coming in, we're ready for you.
Right. So we have one question here where we have been asked what are the types of RPA bots and how many tasks can a single bot or a single agent do. So this a bot is not. There are different types of bots that can be catered depending on the need or the load of the request that you might be uh, putting the bot through. So you might have some requests that are very lightweight and some requests that are doing a lot of UI automation or processing a lot of tickets and those type of things. So there are different bots available which can do heavy, which can do different levels of load lifting, and of course, depending on your hardware, the top tier bot can essentially run n number of requests without any limit being put on the bot. So to answer your question, there are different tiers of bots that are available, and based on your requirement, those bots can be deployed within the organization. And the top tier bot is unlocked, and you can run limitless processes based on your or depending on your hardware. So there is one more question here, which says, "What if I'm interested in POC? How do we proceed with this?" So Ed, if you would like to take that one.
Yeah, absolutely, Himanshu. Thank you.
Yeah.
So to do within a POC is really get on a call and really understand your use case, your business case, what are the drivers, and then we have a process on where we will get into a call, do a discovery, and we really handle it on a case by case basis. But we are certainly eager and keen to support a POC. We collectively between Automation Edge and a customer's organization want to understand the level of effort, agree to the outcome, and then we follow the process and have certain agreements, etc. So, if you're interested in working with Automation Edge on a POC, you can certainly reach out to myself at Markowitz, and my email address is up there, or you can certainly hit our website and inquire about a POC, which will commence Automation Edge reaching out to you to start that conversation. So thank you for that question.
Okay, so the next question we have is, do we have any local partners in Germany and US? So we have global partners in various different geographies, US and Germany both included. The next question that we have is, what other APIs are in works to go with this automation process? Is AD Manager plus one of them? So to answer this question, a lot of other APIs are in works to go with this automation process. We are definitely picking out more and more systems that are commonly used and build plugins or ready actions around them. That being said, we also have a REST client or a SOAP client plugin, which is ready, which can allow you to integrate with existing softwares in case for the moment a direct integration is not available in form of plugins. So you can use this plugin to directly make a REST call or SOAP call to your target system, fetch data and use it in Automation Edge directly. The next question is this good for automatic job postings? Example, requisition creation in Talio. So yes, this is an absolutely good tools for automatic job postings. And when I say mean tool, I mean moreover the philosophy of using multiple technologies together. So in fact, one of our clients is using this even for social media marketing, where they have a set of tweets that they have in a spreadsheet, and the bot runs automatically daily after certain intervals, where it keeps on posting certain things. Similarly, people are using this to post things regularly using the inbuilt scheduler on various different websites regarding jobs or promoting of content and all of these things. So definitely job postings can be automated using this type of tool or this type of approach. Yeah, so one more question which we have got is, does this work only with Remedyforce or does this work with other service desks as well? So the answer is yes, it definitely works with other service desks. Today we have concentrated only on Remedyforce, but we have integrations with various other service desks as well. And you can integrate many different service desks with Automation Edge to achieve end-to-end automation. One more question which we have is, while integrating with SAP, is SAP license consumed as used by the bot? So the bot, the basic premise of RPA is where the robot mimics human actions. So in this case, the answer would be yes. So it would be just like a human would consume one of your licenses. The bot will also consume one of your licenses in SAP to basically automate the actions that are required to be done in your specific use case. Okay, so we have some questions around differences between AutomationEdge and some other leading competition vendors. So I'll not get into a lot of details. For that, you can of course get in touch with us. But I just want to highlight a couple of primary points. So one is the use of multiple technologies that we have, which allows you to actually leverage automation and harness full power of your service desk without having any without having any challenge to do so. The other thing is ready integrations to so many target systems both on IT side and business side, and of course other things like exhaustive custom reporting, and all of these things are few of the differentiating factors. Of course, as I said, for more details you can always get in touch with us and we will definitely answer those questions. So I also have a question on ML capabilities and integration during automation based on historical data. So I'll just say that it is definitely possible, and our next webinar, which is there on 4th of October, is actually going to concentrate completely on this. So I would encourage you to join that webinar where we'll talk in a lot of details, and we will definitely completely answer your question, not just through discussion, but also showing you a couple of things live in action. Okay, one more question which I have is, can we do development on our own for AutomationEdge, since we have mentioned that it's drag and drop, and how easy it is to make changes to automation? So the answer is yes, you can definitely do automation on your own. AutomationEdge as organization provides free trainings. There is tutorial content on YouTube which is available to you as well once you are onboarded as a partner or client. You can also get a remote instructor-based training session, which is an exhaustive course, which upon completion you will be certified as a AutomationEdge developer. You can take that as well, and of course, doing that automation then becomes easier, and more importantly it is also much easy to make changes to the workflow. So if there is some change on your target system or the base system, you can simply remove some plugins that are a part of that workflow, just add new ones there and continue with your workflow. Maintenance updation of workflow is really straightforward. uh, So one more question I have is it possible to have a test account or a demo account first before showing interest? So definitely, that is definitely possible. We do have an option to give you a 30 days trial, which you can use, limiting to one bot, and otherwise it is a fully functional 30-day trial. And then that's a no commitment trial. So based on your liking and experience, you can decide whether you want to go ahead with the prospect or not. That being said, we also host RPA as a service with AutomationEdge deployment options, which allows you to do this really seamlessly. So you don't have to invest into infrastructure. The only things you have to download is the IDE or Process Studio as we call it, and your digital worker, or as we call it, AutomationEdge. You also have an option of F3 RP, getting F3 RPA bot, which stands for free, fast, and feature-rich RPA bot. So it's one fully functional bot given to one enterprise free of cost. We help you in productionizing this bot. We give you trainings, we give you support on email and community, and we of course do handholding in developing and deploying these processes. So this that is called as F3 bot. You can of course go ahead and Google it and read more about it on our website. So I think we are on the top of our over. Back to you, Ed.
Awesome. Thank you, Himanshu. Appreciate all the insight, and certainly thank everybody for attending today's session. This concludes today, and we look forward to seeing you on October 4th for the Remedy Force with machine learning. AI, and automation. Thanks, everybody. Have a great morning, great day, and great evening. Thank you.